Hey guys, welcome to our final lecture. I am in my bedroom. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a different point of view for our final lecture together. I want to kind of just get right into it because I know this is going to be a long video, and a lot of you guys are specifically watching this for our final review. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to actually go over chapter 13, and I was like, you know what, you're gonna go through chapter 13 and no one's gonna watch it. They're gonna fast forward it because they're gonna be looking for the final review. You don't have anything to write on this chapter. You're not gonna be getting tested on this chapter. So I do not feel as if it is necessary for me to spend 40 something minutes going over it in depth. So what I am going to do, and if anybody who really wants me to, I don't want to do anything that's going to hinder your education in some way, and you're like, well, I really want you to go over chapter 13 in detail, then please let me know and I will do that. But I do feel like you guys just want to get your final review for the exam and start studying, especially because as of what's today would be May 13th at 12 o'clock, 11:59, your paper 4 will be due. So let's just open up the PowerPoint that is named Final Lecture. And I just have here listed for you guys and there goes my mouse. That's the problem with me doing this in my bedroom. But, okay. So this is the PowerPoint, which is Final Lecture. And I am listing for you all of the chapters that we have gone through and highlighting chapter 13, which is what this upcoming slides are referring to. So I am going to leave those notes for you so you can just kind of skim through if you're interested in reading what I was planning on discussing and if we were in class right now. All right, so due today, May 13th, discussion board number 15, which is extra credit at 6 p.m. per usual when this video goes up. All other extra credits will be due at 11:59. Paper 4 is due at 11:59. And all your YouTube comments, including for chapter 12, which was last week's video, should be up by tonight. So we're playing it as if this is our last day of class and this is your last opportunity to participate. After that, your YouTube comments will not count towards participation. So I already warned you guys, don't wait until the last minute because the last day you're going to have a lot of things and that's where we at. Comments on this video is not mandatory, but please feel free to comment and ask questions and do whatever, communicate with me however you wish. Today's lecture, we will briefly review chapter 13, close out Cohen. Not planning on really doing too much of that and just going right into the final review for the final exam. So if you remember for the final exam, I put up PowerPoints. So at the end of every few chapters, I put up PowerPoints of the questions that I choose from to make your final exam. So that was like my way of start getting familiar with these questions, start testing yourself the whole semester. Now what I did is I combined all those questions and I created your final exam choosing for those questions. So of course, when I combined those questions, I saw that there were 100 slides, probably around 50 questions. So me being the nice and understanding professor that I am going to use this video to go over those questions with you. So if we were in class, what I would have done was give you a PowerPoint slide of all the filtered questions that are now in the exam, have a back and forth with you in class, test each other, and then have an actual PowerPoint that would have been available on Blackboard all week, and then you would have came in and take the exam closed book. Since you are taking the final exam online at home, and you're going to most likely, be using your book, whatever else sources you're going to have, this is your review, and the PowerPoint slide with those filtered questions will not be available. So you need to pay attention to this video, take notes, pay attention to the questions I am filtering and asking of you, and then it's your responsibility to either, write the questions down, study them, go back to those previous slides, find, whatever it is you need to do. The PowerPoint slides are there for you to save, extract, combine, make your, we're in college. I'm not going to tell you how to study, but, you know what I mean? Okay. So this is your review. Pay attention, stars, save this video. I do not recommend that you save this video and then watch it while you're taking the exam. That is risky. Very risky. So again, this is like your very important video that I'm going to go over all the questions that are on the final, and then that's it. You will not be able to access the PowerPoint slides that I am getting the questions from once the test, after this video goes up. And once the test goes up, the PowerPoint slides, the review PowerPoint slides and the lecture PowerPoint slides on May 20th will no longer be made available. So, all right. So do what you have to do now. Today's lecture. Okay. So, and then, a little farewell. So chapter 13, Future of the Family. Again, it's just the closing out of focusing on how the family institution is changing and focusing specifically on the themes of inequality, diversity, and social change. You will need to know those 3 themes for your exam. So again, I am just going to kind of fly through these slides. So you see he talks about diversity, different ways that the family is being diverse. It's no longer diverse just from race and ethnicity. There are other types of diversity, how we measure diversity. So I'm just going through the slides. I'm on slide 9 now. Race, ethnicity, religion, family paths and types, right? So I think just out of studying for this class for so long, you kind of already know what we're referring to, right? So diversity when it comes to race, diversity when it comes to people marrying outside their religion, right? Exogamy, that's also on your final. And then, of course, the different ways that families are being formed. So it's no longer just the courtship or, a female meeting a man, right? We went through the whole thing of hooking up and dating, right? So that diversity, and then inequality, how the family has different effects on families when it comes to the rich versus the poor, social class, race, so forth, and how that not only affects the family, affects individuals, but also can lead to certain identifiers that you can predict future behavior. I mean, just all the stuff that sociology is basically made for. So although I'm kind of skimming through this and I'm saying, you're not going to be quizzed on the specifics of this chapter, it is important to get familiar with the relationships and read the notes that I have here, because there's something that might be able to help you with the short answers on your final, when you'll see what I mean when we go over it. So inequality, health, time, we went over, how working parents have different time with their kids, social acceptance. I'm just going through slide 18, slide 19, and now on slide 20, we're going over social change. And this is kind of the big thing, if anything, you're going to pull out of this entire book, is how family is not always a reflection of larger societal changes, but society changes also because of the family. Does that make sense, right? And that's probably a good way that, just a good way that you can maybe think of. I know your papers are already done, but the benefits and the negatives of family institutions changing, right? So we had an example like the ERA, women going into the workforce. How has that changed the family? Versus families changing, such as people no longer marrying, but cohabitating first. How has that further changed society as a whole? So it's this back and forth. And that's what we mean a lot when we're talking about the arenas interacting and overlapping with each other. Do I talk too fast? I rewatch my videos. I hate rewatching myself. And I rewatched my videos and I was like, Jesus, you talk so fast. And it's I'm probably like that in the classroom. And let me slow down. All right, so that and how much it graphs. So I'm gonna leave again. All these notes are gonna be there for you to read. And slide 33 and forth relate to what your extra credit discussion board post was asking. Specifically, it was a workshop on page 504. And, these three different kind of point of views, very related to the conflict and consensus perspective of these responses to how families are changing, right? So you kind of hear a lot of this in today's rhetoric of, oh, the conservatives and the Republicans and right wings versus the liberals and the leftists and Democrats, right? So this is kind of just specific definitions of that. So you see here the conservative, the singular ideal, which is, that old school point of view reflective of the consensus perspective. Things are the way they should be for a reason. The structural functionist, that's going to be on your final exam. Promoting conformity instead of diversity. Remember, this was also consistent with not just how they were explaining the family, like things are like this for a reason, keep it, but also when it came to gender and when it came to sexuality and when it came to what was the other thing? Oh, social class, right? There's a reason why the people who are poor, we need poor people in order to give people some kind of incentive to become rich, right? So that's this whole thing. And then moving on to the liberal side on the American political spectrum of slide 34, which is, and you see here the listing here of the notes that I put, more accepting of diversity. So it's more towards the conflict perspective, but the next slide is more of what we went over when it came to the conflict perspective, because it is more active when it comes to embracing change. So very critical of the family, the feminist perspective. So I wore this shirt because we should all be feminists. I'm not trying to push or make some kind of political push on you guys. It's just a shirt that I have, and I was like, oh, let me wear this as a little thing that relates to the class that we're talking about. But I'm not. You guys know what I'm saying. But yeah, so feminist perspective, the traditional family should be in decline. I'm not saying that I believe that. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want people going and saying, oh, the family professor doesn't believe in the family. But so yeah, this is the critical perspective of the family. They, the whole thing about power dynamics, and a critical thing about that was that it doesn't take into account that sometimes women just really love their families. It's this very, which I believe can be a oppressive idea within itself, as if women don't make choices of their own to love their family. And perhaps there is some kind of, my idea, biological differences between men and women when it comes to women being more caring when it comes to children, with the whole thing that we carry. I don't know, I'm going into a tangent, but that's just me thinking out loud. But yeah, so this is a way more critical point of view. I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that. I'm not saying that I'm 100% on one side versus the other. I'm just saying what this is reflecting. The family contributes to inequality, right? And prevents diversity in certain ways. So that whole thing that we went over. So these are the three different point of views that we see even now Americans are having towards changes that are happening, right? We're seeing it with immigration, specifically Trump. And this relates to what moving forward past. I'm pushing the slides. This is going towards, I'm on slide 49, the final discussion board post, which is due today. And these are the 3 point of views you were supposed to choose from in order to do this workshop on page 504. And just basically give me your position answering a question that Cohen poses here on a controversial point of view, right? So split up the arguments for each topic using these. So basically what the workshop says. So I'm interested to see your conservative, liberal, and critical responses to this. And I also put, if you go back to slide 48 and slide 47, because the conclusion, and sorry, I'm all over the place, but the conclusion on slide 46 is just saying that families are changing more and more. There are different ways. The family's going to change in ways, and that the way the book left off, in ways that we don't even know yet how they're going to change. And that's where I pulled in the slides and I pulled up articles relating to Corona and U.S. marriage rates hitting a historic low as of this year. So it was just interesting to see how, something, even a writer such as Cohen, who wrote a book that's talking about diversity and all the ways the family is changing, probably couldn't even predict how more families and life in America was going to change. And now with coronavirus, we see such a different factor, right? We didn't really talk about at all pandemics and, like disease and virus and things in the economy, things closing. I don't even think he could have even really predicted even further. I mean, even though Trump is briefly brought up in this book, but it was like more the beginning of him, but how much more divisive how much more split the country has become, and how that's probably reflected in families now, right? I mean, are you able to talk politics with your family? Just all these different ways that the family is gonna keep changing, and how something like the coronavirus is so unpredictable, and how's it affecting your life personally. I'm really sorry for any students who have lost anybody during this time, and friend, family, whatever. It's a horrible time. I personally know a lot of John Jay professors who are being laid off, and it's a rough time. So I just really just want to end that with, I hope that with this class, even me, I'm sure it's just like an elective for a lot of you guys. I hope that you saw certain things and realize certain things about your own family, about your own life, that maybe made you ring a bell in your head, like, okay, I'm going to keep this in mind about how this personally affects me, or when I have a family, how I could possibly, change things to prevent something in my child or in the larger society as a whole, right? Because we saw how our individual behavior in our families does have a larger effect on family, right? And I'm not saying, choose to date somebody outside your race to prevent racism or segregation. I'm not saying prevent, inequality as the mate selection debate is. But I'm just saying, I hope that, this opens your eyes to certain things that you probably never realized before. Even when I first started teaching this class, there was so many things I was like, wow, I never really thought about that before. You know what I mean? Like, how is it that my personal life, my work at home is negatively affected by my work and my job, things like that. And, maybe if I'm a boss one day, how would I keep that in mind when I, are hiring women or hiring men, or, expectations I expect of my boyfriend, husband, or whatever. And what about the things that he goes through, right? I'm always thinking about my role as a woman, but what about his role as a man? And, my daughter's role as a Hispanic student and this time period, so many things. So I just hope that this class open your eyes to certain things like that. And that's especially for anybody who's like in law enforcement or anything like that. I remember once I taught this class and there was an NYPD officer in the class, and he emailed me saying that he felt like this class like really would help him, and when he approaches certain families differently on the field and things like that. So I thought that was interesting. So I hope in some way that has happened. And I hope even more that everybody's healthy and safe. So with that, that's like my little bye. And next semester I am teaching sociology of human rights. I know it's like the two different things, but those are my two. Like family in the spring, human rights in the winter. So that's what I'm doing in the fall. But all right, so let's do 18 minutes. Let's do the final exam review. So in your final lecture slides, why am I talking like this? I'm sorry. All right, so this slide on page 57, I have let's go to 56. Slide 56, I have like a C2nd May 13th video, Zoom meeting Monday, May 18th, test May 20th. So I thought I was going to make a second video, but I think I'm going to I'm going to keep this. And then I'm going to, okay, so let's just go. I'm like wasting so much time. Okay, I'm not making a second video. That's all I'm saying. And this is the video. And I actually, guys, if you wanted a Zoom meeting or a video lecture, the majority of you said you want the video lecture, and I get it. You want to be able to pick this up and see things on your own time. But some of you did say you wanted a Zoom. So what I think I'm going to give you the option to do is... just drew a blank. Have this video up at 6 o'clock. Do the whole thing. Like, you guys watch this, 6 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And then, have you guys use this time, you know, Thursday, Friday, what's today, Wednesday? Whatever, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, study, do what you gotta do. And then on Monday, make a Zoom meeting available to you guys where I will welcome it to anybody who wants to join. And because I'm sure you're gonna have questions as you start studying this more specific filtered list I'm going to give you right now. So then Monday I'll make a Zoom meeting that's like open to people who want to do that. How about that? Let me know what you guys think. So today video will go up at 6 o'clock, and then Zoom meeting perhaps Monday for anyone who has questions, a little kind of final thing before the exam on Wednesday. And then Wednesday we will have the tests. And let's move on to, I'm moving on to slide 58, which this is like I just copy and pasted really quick so you had one slide one PowerPoint to open during this lecture. But there is a better looking version of this on your Blackboard if you want to look at it, and it is called Final Exam Review. So on that, so this is when you want to start paying attention. All right, so there's 16 questions on your final. Your final is on Blackboard. It will be under tests and quizzes. The announcement will be made. And then from the time the announcement goes up, if you click that and start the test is going to start. So you guys already had your practices from the quizzes. It's going to be exactly like the quizzes where all the questions are there in front of you. You know, I have the option to do one at a time. I feel like those are so stressful, you know. So, you know, all the questions are going to be there for you. You have 16 questions. And I had to change it up from last semester because usually my quizzes, my finals are mostly multiple choice, fill in the blank. I have 4 short answers and 1 essay. I usually don't have that. I usually have like 1 essay and 1 short answer, but you guys are home with the final, with the book and the PowerPoint. I couldn't give you just a bunch of multiple choice questions based on multiple choice questions that you already have the answers in front of you, right? So I had to make it a little bit more, you know, thinking on your own. So that's what we have 4 short answers. I'll get into what the short answers are expected, but short answers are really just like, when I say like the short answers are like me saying like 2 to 3 sentences, just answer the question. Don't give me any bull crap of like, you know, Cohen was really just like answer the question straight out, get straight to the point. Time is wasted. I'm not giving you a word count, because if I give a word count, then you're stressed out about fulfilling some kind of minimum. You answer the question, you're fine, right? The essay is the one that's a little bit more, I want something more in depth, more specifics, and I'm going to let you know which one that's going to be. And then 1 true or false, 4 short answer, 3 fill in the blank, 7 multiple choice. I mean, I think the multiple choice, you guys are going to fly through that. And again, they're going to be reflective of multiple choice questions we've already went over in class. 2 extra credits. So you do have extra credit. They're going to be worth 5 points, like altogether. And that's it. And so of this list of topics I'm telling you to focus on, your extra credit is included in that. So test is only available to be taken on Wednesday, May 20th. So like May 19th is Tuesday, 12 a.m. May 20th, Wednesday, your test will become available through 11:59 at 12 a.m. May 21st. It will be considered due. I am not sure how it works if you begin the test at 11 p.m. and it'll like close out 12. I didn't want to take a risk, so I just put it as being due at 2 a.m. just in case it will close. But that doesn't mean that you should like wait the whole day and then start the test at like 11:59 p.m. because you think, you know what I mean? I don't suggest that. I'm just doing that for the purposes of, let's say someone starts a test at like 10:30 and they start exactly at 2 hours. So that, all right, cumulative. So like I already said, chapters 1 through 12, all the review, lecture, PowerPoint on Blackboard will be made available. So do what you have to do now to, review, take notes, whatever you want to do with that information, the PowerPoints. Obviously open book since you are home. Answers are only based on Cohen. Do not Google Institutional Arena and then give me some kind of answer that is going to be, if it's something that's not from Cohen, I'm going to Google it. And if you gave me a Google answer, you're immediately getting a 0. So don't even do that. People are still doing it for their papers. It is infuriating. That's why for paper 4, I said no more outside sources. You are to use Cohen. that is it to answer these questions. That is the material. That is what I assigned. That is what the majority of our mandated work was. That's all you're supposed to be using. Cohen. Any answer that's not from Cohen, you're going to get a 0. I don't require for the short answers or the further essays to be cited or anything. The questions will not indicate which chapter the question is from. So for the quizzes, I did put like a little chapter 4, that's not going to happen. So this is out of 100 points, 25% of your final grade. So like the multiple choices, I think are like 5 points each. And sometimes that can feel like, I found with like my history of giving out exams is like, sometimes like students like that, like, oh, like short 16. But sometimes when you have like 7 multiple choice questions and like 5 points each, like boom, you get like 4 wrong. That right there, you're already starting at an 80. You know what I mean? So sometimes I like giving more questions because it gives you more leeway to get things wrong and get like 2 points, and then you get 5 questions wrong and that's 10 points off. But I would rather, but since we're doing a quiz, a final at home, I would rather, you know, have you guys bang out the, you know, you guys see what I'm saying. Leave open or use PowerPoint or Word during the exam at your own risk. The back and forth risks you accidentally exiting the test, and this can take up a lot of time. So yeah, so I know it's a final exam. I think that having the, I mean, again, I'm not going to tell you guys how to study, but you know, using the book and, you know, whatever it is that however you study, your own personal notes. But I personally think that having this video open or having the PowerPoint open or whatever it is, all those questions open, and you going back and forth from that to your final to that to your final, you are risking exiting out that test by accident. And once that test is open, you cannot take the exam again. I cannot have you open up a final, see all the questions, and then close it, and then be able to, you know, research and do everything, and then say, oh, I can't. Please, this is why I hate giving final exams, because in the long run, online, because in the long run, it is easier for me because I automatically grade it online. But there's always like something that goes wrong. So make sure your computer is charged. Make sure your laptop is Wi-Fi. Make sure you tell everyone in your house, leave me alone for 2 hours. I need to think. Please, you know, it's gonna open up on a new window. Whatever you need to do to prevent one of those catastrophes happening, please do. Test questions and answers are random. So yeah, so everything will be randomized. So don't try to be like, you know, 1A, 2B, 5C, and then give it to somebody because it's not going to be accurate. And make sure, like I said, oh yeah, and then again, same thing with if you try to Google or look up using the answer to your exam, you're going to risk doing that. You are getting 2 hours as if we are in class. So once the minute you start your exam, so the 2 hours you start your exam, what am I saying? The minute you start the exam, you have 2 hours to finish it. That in that window. So you can't, the same thing as your quiz, you can't exit it, you can't close it, because then it will close out. So that's what it will not start again. That's what I mean. So if you start the 2 hours and exit it, you get a 0 for everything else. Make sure you have, yeah, so that's it. I think I'm going to stop this video here and then start a second video with just me going over the answers. So this will be like our chapter 13 really quick review type thing. And then if you guys have any questions, if there's anything specifically from chapter 13 that you want me to go over, leave me a comment. Again, comments on this video are not mandatory. But this is like my little instructional final exam thing. Leave any of those type of questions underneath this PowerPoint. And then my next video will be actual questions that are on the exam. So let me just reiterate again. So every few chapters in class, I would make a PowerPoint with all the videos, right? What am I saying? With all the questions that I'm choosing from. Because Cohen gives me a big list of suggested questions. And then within his big list of questions, I look at some and I'm like, all right, these are cool to ask. Then I put those on a PowerPoint. And then I went over them with you guys every few chapters. Those are all on Blackboard for you until May 20th. You know what I'm saying? All right, until May 20th. those questions are on Blackboard for you, on a PowerPoint. Okay, so what I have done is taken all those PowerPoints and combined them into one big 100 slide PowerPoint. And then from that PowerPoint, I chose questions and I made a 16 question final exam. The way that as here, multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, true, false, etc. So now what I am doing is I am going to make a video sharing those questions with you. But that video is just going to be that, a video. I am not sharing a physical listing of these 16 questions because I might as well just give you the test now. You guys get what I'm saying? If we were in class, I would have done that. But we're not in class. And I can't give you a 16 thing PowerPoint with 16 questions and then you're going to have, so we're going to have a second video that you're going to watch after this. And I'm going to go over those questions, plus a few more that are related. So, you know what I mean? Like if you have a question on endogamy, a few questions on endogamy for you to know what endogamy is, So I hope you guys get it. And I will see you guys in a little bit. Sorry for all the kind of changing and messing around. All right, bye. See you very soon.